Hey, this is Bob Corsari. When I'm not playing APA or whatever game Dave's suggesting for us to play this week, I'm listening to the Digital to Dice podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast. I am Dave, and I'm joined once again by Vinnie Mancini. Vin, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be back. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of chats offline, so we decided to bring it online and make a show out of it today. This will be episode 268 of the Digital to Dice podcast. And today we're going to talk about games as therapy. And it's stuff that we've talked about on the show before, or at least we hinted at it before, but we're going to really take a deep dive into that today as how therapeutic some of these games can be. Ways to get a hold of us, digitaltodice.com is the website, digitaltodice.com, that is. 978-751 is the text line. And not only is it the text line, Vin, it's now the voicemail line. So if you want to leave us a voicemail or leave us a promo for the show or anything else we may or may not play on the show, leave us a message, 978-751-3423. Our email is digitaltodice@yahoo.com. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. Alrighty, so all the housekeeping is done. I think we'll skip the weather today and just go right into what we're playing so we can attack that main topic as soon as we can. So let me hit the music and we'll get into what we're playing.
All right.
Greetings and salutations. This is Swedish Jeff, and you are listening to the Digital Dice podcast.
All right, I'll kick things off over here. It's been a basketball type of thing over here. Yeah, we got the Stanley Cup playoffs, which I've been watching, actually. They've been very enjoyable to a point where I'm pretty sure when APA and or Hockey Bones comes out with that season, I'm probably going to pick it up. I'm going to want to play that Maple Leaf series, the crushing defeat in Game 7. I'm going to want to replay that game. I'm going to want to play the finals. They've just been so good. They've really been back and forth, and it's been a lot of fun to see. It's fun to see Marchand kind of tuck it up the Bruins' rear end by, borderline Conn Smythe Trophy winner in the finals. So I've been watching a lot of hockey, but there's been a lot of basketball on my tabletop, including bank shot basketball. You guys have probably seen me playing that and talking about that. Really enjoying that. Joe just opened up the print the print stuff again, so you can order printed teams and printed games rather than just a PDF. It is for a limited time, though, so jump right on that. If you're listening to this in June of 2025, jump right on that. Also, I picked up another season of a couple of seasons of Player of the Game basketball from Downey Vin. And that I like that game. It's kind of like a reverse engineering the score type of game, whereas you roll dice to see who's in the game, and each player gets so many dice rolls to determine their points. But then you have to look at how many dice rolls the team is supposed to get, make your final adjustments, and then you roll the dice for each player. You factor in home court advantage and defense, which might shave or add a point to each person's total. And that's how you get the final score. And you start at the bottom, so you start with the guys that might have one roll, and then you move up to the guys that have two, and then you get all the way to the top where the big guns come in, and a guy like Wilt Chamberlain, I think I had to roll 9 dice and add them all up to get his score. Yeah, so he could get anywhere from 9 to 90 points. He really could, at least in that particular game.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that was fun. So I played the Celtics and the Warriors. I picked up the 61-62 season, and I played that, and the Celtics beat them. But, Wilt obviously had a great game for the Warriors. I also picked up 95-96. That'll go along with my 95-96 bank shot basketball season. So that's kind of basically what I've been playing. I did sneak in a game of Payoff Pitch from my 1976 season, and I forget if I played that online or if I played that just offline myself. But yeah, so it's been bank shot basketball, Player of the Game basketball, and some Payoff Pitch, and I think that's about it as far as I've been playing. What's been going on your tabletop?
I think I've been watching you. But, almost the same thing, bank shot. Excuse me. The bank shot basketball, we're kind of hooked right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
I've also had start to learn Payoff Pitch and season ticket baseball. Haven't played baseball games in a while. I'm looking forward to it. Still playing John Turnbull's baseline basketball.
That is fun.
Oh, my goodness. It is a fun little game, and you can take it anywhere, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I need to pull out that in his hockey game, Red Ice Hockey, and I want to play the finals in both because I think he has the modern season or the current season ready to go.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. And I was going to do the same. I like Red Ice Hockey. I do. I think it's, I like the way it gives you the player scoring and the assists. And, the goalies don't factor into it too much, but the teams do.
Yeah, they're baked in.
Yeah. Right. So it's good. John does good work and definitely does his homework. And that's really been it. I'm just corner rounding on my table, too.
That's good. We'll get into that with the therapy part of it because that is kind of therapeutic doing that stuff there. And there was a little discussion going on Facebook too about, spending time on that. And we can talk about that when we get into it there. But yeah, I'm the same way. I'm looking into an industrial corner rounder because I have so many payoff pitch seasons. But I like the one I got. It does the good job. It just takes a little while and it bothers your hand. But again, if you get the big one and it just doesn't do as good as a job, you're going to be, now what do you do,
Yeah, we got to put an emergency call into Joe. Repay for another season. And, oh, boy. And when it comes to mechanical, industrial, that's not me.
I like the one I have is you just slide one card in at a time and then you push down with your other hand. But the thing is, it's all set up. You don't got to worry about moving any pieces around. And that's what I worry about. If I'm off center or something like that, which you can be if you're not correct.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I'm going to get the big one. I just don't. I don't know. Well, let's talk about it in a segment of the show. All right, so let's talk about games as therapy, shall we? So I'll get right into it. We'll pick up where we left off with the cornering, okay? And for me, I would take a handful of teams and bring it over to where I'm doing the cornering because I have it set up on the end of I have a sink downstairs and there's a little bit of area next to the sink. And I just put it on that. And so I go over and every time I walk by, I do a team, and then I'll go upstairs and do what I got to do. And if I come back downstairs before I walk by that cutter by the sink, I go over and I do another team. And it takes me, I want to say 2 minutes, minute and a half to 2 minutes to do a team if I really get in the groove. Sometimes if I fly through a team, I'll do two teams. But for me, it's, and there was talk about people say, I'd rather be gaming and it's a waste of my time. And other people like, I like that to look good. Well, my take on that is, yes, it's taking time out from my gaming. But if it takes me an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to round all the corners of a season of a bank shot basketball, I should say, because it's less guys in baseball. But if I take the 83-84 season of bank shot basketball and I round all the corners of all the players and it takes me 45 minutes to an hour. Yep, that's 45 minutes to an hour. I'm out for gaming, right? Because you're not gaming, you're doing something else. But when I pull those teams out and put them on the table and just seeing how good they look and seeing how good they feel.
Oof, they feel good.
They feel so much different without the corners, and they look so much different without the corners. So that 45 minutes to an hour, for me, I think it's worth it because I'm getting a better gaming experience going forward with that time that I spent.
I agree. And, I was thinking about it the other day because we did get some negative feedback on it. But again, I like a game. You don't like the game. I like corner rounding. You don't like it. It's all good. And it's part of what we do in the hobby. So I was thinking the other day that, I play a lot of golf. Well, I've been trying to get back to playing a lot of golf again. Well, I clean my clubs, don't I? And that takes a while.
Yeah.
So if that's part of my golf, I have to keep my clubs clean. I like clean cards. I like the way it feels in my hands. I got these new seasons that came in, and as I'm handling them and opening them up, it's like, from the corner.
Yeah, isn't that so strange? It is so weird but when you take anything from payoff pitch or bank shot, it is those cards are thick and those corners, they are sharp. Yep. And they don't, like when you're trying to shuffle the fast action cards, I have a hard time with that with the corners. Whereas now that I have them all cornered, it's like a deck of cards. They really do shuffle a lot better.
100%.
They just don't get caught on the table. They don't get caught on my mat. They don't get caught with each other. It really is. It just, the cornering makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, and it's not a knock on them cards because I've never come across as good a product as Joe's season cards, like Matchup College Football, STs, Fast Action cards.
Yep.
Off the hook, same quality, only they come rounded.
Yeah.
And Joe mentioned it online on Facebook that he would love to do that, but the cost would skyrocket.
Yeah.
So I appreciate as a gamer that he's saving me that kind of money.
Yep.
I have the option.
Yeah.
If I would like to do it. And I enjoy it. And it's therapeutic. My hands shake, right? I'm at that stage of life. So when I'm doing that, they're not shaking. They're moving a lot quicker, actually. Yeah. And I'm feeding it and I'm, corner around the it's therapeutic in that way for me.
Yeah. I have to wait. Sometimes I'll do it when the wife's watching TV and I know she's not happy about it. But like if she goes out a lot. She'll go out with her sister or visit her mom or whatever, doctor or something. So as soon as I hear the door close, I'm flying over to the cutter and I'm pounding out as many teams as I can. It's like, look, she'll be back in a half hour. I got a half hour. I go, maybe I can put up this whole season. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's kind of how I tried to do it in the middle of the night one time. She just comes downstairs. What are you doing? Cornering my cards. Right.
Yeah.
But the other thing I found, Vin, is that when I'm done cornering the cards myself, and I bang them on the table, and I look and I stack them up, and I look and and all the corners are nice, and I put them away with all the other cards. It's like there's a sense of accomplishment there that this is really nice. And now anytime I go to pull a team out of this season, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so nice. Right. And so there is a little it takes time and it takes away from your gaming, and some people don't like that, and that's fine. I mean, you can just kind of jump right on the table and play, but for that 45 minutes or so that I'm not gaming, I'm going to make my gaming so much better.
I agree. I just don't mind. I got those 5 new seasons that came the other day from a previous order from Joe, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this. And as I'm opening them, and I know I have to do this, I said. I have to. They're just different. They're different. I
was the same way. It's like, well, I'm only going to play a couple teams in this season, so I'll just do them as needed. And then I ended up doing the whole season because it's like you got some that look so nice. And you got the other ones. The cards are nice. Don't get me wrong. The cards are nice, but when you take those corners off them, it's like a new paint job. It really is. It's like, oh, man, these cards look so different. And so I agree. So I have some more seasons coming in too. So Joe opened up the print ordering again. So I jumped on that, and I even got another baseball season coming. But so I'm playing 1976 payoff pitch, and I'm doing just the Red Sox.
Right.
I'm going to play every game. I'm using Digital Diamond to keep my stats, and I'm letting Digital Diamond play all the other teams. But I rounded the whole cornered the whole American League in 76 because that's who I'm playing. I'll probably play some National League at some point just to kind of get them on the table. But I rounded all the corners of the payoff pitch. Now it's a lot longer because there's a lot more players on a baseball team than a basketball team. But oh man, putting them on the table, it's like, oh man. Do I really need to corner every single team? I've got a lot of teams at payoff pitch, but I think I decided what I'm going to do is if I decide to play a game, I'll go and corner those 2 teams and play them, and instead of just kind of, although then again, knowing me, I'll chip away at them all and get them all done. Yep. But again, you look at them, you're like, man, the cornered ones look so good, and I don't mind spending the time on it. And there's a little bit of satisfaction knowing that you made something a lot better, and you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So it is therapeutic. It is kind of therapeutic going over there. I'll just put something on the radio, and I'll listen to the radio while I do it or something like that. Then when I get tired, I walk away and I go play something. Right. It doesn't mean you can't play anything. It just, so I do it in doses. I'll go do a team or a couple of teams, and next thing you know, I'm halfway through the season, and then I'll go do a couple more teams and another team, and then a couple of teams after dinner. It's like, wow, you only got like 5 teams left. Let me just bang them out. And so I just kind of divide and conquer. Divide and corner. Divide and corner. I think
there you go. There you go. You know what else? I know this has to get to you too because we think alike with this, but when you lay them in a box and some of the teams aren't done yet, it just looks messy now.
Yeah, it does.
I just have to do them, and so they look uniform. But I'm anal too.
Oh, I'm the same way. I want everything to look nice. I don't want to. The only thing I didn't do, I will say, is I didn't do the league. Now in Bankrupt, you get the league card and then the league averages.
Yes,
and then all the players that played on several teams or more than one team, they have a separate card.
Yes.
I didn't do them because I'm probably not going to use them, so I didn't corner them, at least not yet, because I'm like, yeah, that's just going to sit in the box. I don't think I'll ever play that. They're nice to look at, but so for me, I didn't corner them. So I'm anal to a point, but at that point, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to use these. So I just like, that's why I like to buy seasons and have them here, when I can afford them, is because there's a peace of mind, and it is, again, we're talking about, therapeutic here and therapy with these games, knowing that if I get the itch to go play a team or a game, I have them. And now knowing that if I have them and they're all cornered, I can pick up and play. So if I get the itch right now, okay, I'm going to play, 75, 76 Celtics and Lakers. They're all done, ready to go. I don't have to think about them, And whereas, the payoff pitch, a lot of my baseball seasons, they're not that way. So I would have to do that, one team at a time and do it. But I enjoy my experience with those cards so much better.
I agree.
And it does add to the therapy part of it. Now my work has been crazy because the rink I play at is literally falling apart. It's an old rink. It's almost as old as me. And it's just having a lot of issues, and we've had to cancel a lot of games because there's been problems at the rink, and we just can't play. And so that's been stressing me out. When I don't play, I don't get paid, and it gets frustrating. It's like, well, I'm a little older, so I don't mind taking a little time off now. But I'll come down here, and I'll put on whatever it is, the player of the game basketball I played the other day. I had so much fun with that. The bank shot, the payoff
I'm going to
pitch.
have to check that out.
Yeah. Anything I got here, again, most everything I play, I enjoy. And I just come down here and I just play, and it's like, oh man, it just takes you away from all the yuck. There's a lot of yuck in the world.
Sadly, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, and even like the little stuff at work, it's just, oh man, this is driving me. And all these people are like, oh, why can't we play? Why can't we play? I want to play. It's like, well, we can't. The rink's having a problem. Right now they're having a problem with the lights. You can't play in the dark, so we're not playing again tonight, and it's stressing me out. But I come down here, and boy, I tell you, I played that. I'm playing bank shot basketball, 82-83 finals.
That was a crazy game.
With Philadelphia and L.A. Philadelphia crushed them in the first two games in Philly, so I went back to L.A. L.A. went up by 11. It might have been 13 points in the third quarter, and L.A. collapsed, and Philadelphia came back, and they ended up winning the thing. Oh, what I want to say, by 10 points. They just completely destroyed him in the fourth quarter. And it was kind of fun seeing that change. Just watching, these two teams play, and LA all over them, and the crowd's going. And, I can hear when I do this, okay, this is how crazy I get. I can hear Dick Stockton.
Right.
Because that's the guy that was doing the games when I watched it back in the 80s. I can hear Dick Stockton and Kareem, good, and the Lakers are up by 11. I can hear that in my head. I do. I can hear that.
I get it.
And then all of a sudden it's like, Moses goes down and hits like 4 or 5 in a row, and, Wilkes and Magic can't hit anything. And next thing you know, it's a 16-6 run for Philadelphia, and they're in the lead. And boy, this LA Forum is quiet. But it was so fun watching that, and then down the end, putting on the press and trying to steal the ball, which I did a couple of times, but then LA just couldn't hit a shot. It was just so fun and relaxing doing that last night. And I think I got home from work at about 11:30 last night, and I come on and I ended up playing the last 9 minutes. I think I put it on YouTube too.
Yes.
And it was just and it took me forever to play it, but I just enjoyed the heck out of it. I didn't want to rush it. I didn't want to rush this because I was enjoying this particular game. I was really enjoying. I don't know why, because I just watched
people in the chat cheering.
Yeah,
who was going for the Lakers? Who was
and
for the Sixers?
And that made it really fun. And I said, something. I just want to continue this, I just want to play Game 4 right now because I had so much fun with it. But it is just so relaxing. I just went out and I had to go down the grocery store and get some stuff for the house and for work, and it's like you're fighting people and you're fighting in traffic, and somebody cuts you off, and now you missed the light, and you're like, oh man. And so I'm finally home, and it's like, oh man, I need to relax. What am I going to do to relax? I'm going to come down here and I'm going to play a game.
Yeah, gaming never fails.
Oh man, that is so true. It's just, you come down, no matter what it is, you just kind of block everything out. and just doing something you enjoy. And even if the game turns out to be a bad game, there's still a storyline there.
Yep.
You know, there still is. And do you ever do this, Vin? Do you ever get done a game and you're like, wow, that was unbelievable. And then like the next day you're still thinking about it?
Yep.
And you're like, man, I can't believe that LA was up by 13 points in that third quarter and they lost by 10. And now they're trailing 3-0 in the series. And or you play a game and somebody make, like I think I did I did the Super Bowl with the Jets and the Colts with Namath.
Yes.
And it was a high scoring. They kept going back and forth scoring, and Namath got the ball with like under 2 minutes left, and he drove him down, and damn it, he got the touchdown to win the game. And I was like, man, that was unbelievable.
Yes.
It really was. So many things happen when we play these games, and you walk away from the table, and you just want to tell somebody else. So
I was just going to say that. Right. Those are the moments. I used to share this with Anthony. I would tell him, like, those are the why moments for me. Like, why isn't somebody sitting here playing it with me or watching the game? Because you just want to share it with somebody.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun. You talk about, like, I know I'm a little game nuts, but most of us are. Yesterday, I told you I was at that golf outing. All I could think about was my bank shot season's coming. I kept telling my wife, don't leave him outside because the weather's been miserable. Don't leave him outside. She brought him in. I get home. She goes, you didn't tell me it was that heavy. There was 5 seasons in there. I could not wait to get home.
Yeah.
Got home. I unwound, sat with the little princess for a while. Once they went to sleep, I shot downstairs, started separating the cards. I was up till 2:00 in the morning. Oh, yeah. And you know what was really cool? I forgot 75, 76 has the ABA.
That was such a surprise for me, too, because I did that. And I was like, how come there's so many teams in 75, 76? And then I see A on the cards. I'm like, what is A? And then I said, oh, no way. And I went online and I looked. It's like, yeah, you get the NBA and the ABA in that package. And it's like, oh, so now I can play some ABA teams. And, I think it even included the teams that only played a handful of games. Like, was it Utah and San Diego, something like that? I was like, this is awesome. I love those teams. So it's like, that was a nice surprise.
Yep. And I got some, you're looking at like Dr. J and Louis Dampier. He's probably unfamiliar. Dr. J, you would know, but Louis Dampier was like, big time scorer, and all the George Gervin before he came over. And like, this is just fun.
So what you're talking about here, right, is not the actual gaming, because you're unboxing and you're going through the cards, but even that, it's therapeutic in a way.
Yeah. Everything to do with gaming is therapeutic for me. It's just that's when I escape into that world, and there's no nonsense, and cards aren't yelling at me, and nobody's driving like a maniac, and I'm not hearing Dr. J's problems and my own problems. It's just...
What's fun about unboxing a season, and I don't know if you go through this, sometimes I do it live and sometimes I don't, is you start, with APA, they're all sorted. So I don't really go through everybody with APA. Sometimes I'll pick a few teams and go through them, and it's just kind of fun. But with the payoff pitch, where it's just it's like a disaster. The brick comes in and you just got to separate them one by one is what you got to do. But when Strat comes in, you got to perforate them or whatever it is. So it's different seasons come in different ways. But what's fun is when you go through the teams, whether they're all sorted or whether you're sorting them yourself, and you see your favorite players, and you're like, oh man, I can't wait to play this guy.
Right. Right.
Or you're like, I had no idea this guy was still playing in this season, or look at this guy, he's on this team, when did he play with this team, and that's what makes it fun. So it's like, I say to myself, man, I have so many different ideas with this season right here because of all these players that are on different teams, or this guy's on this team. Like, I was looking at some of the Celtics that were on different teams. Like, oh, that might be fun to play them on this other team. Or in hockey, you got a goalie that like Jockman, went to the Red Wings. You know what I mean? I've played that.
I remember that. Yeah, I watched that one. Yeah,
So it's fun when you see players go to different teams, expansion teams. I also like to play. So some of the basketball seasons, I think I forget what season I picked up, but it had 2 expansion teams. Miami and was it Miami or Orlando? I forget. There was a couple.
Oh, that might have been Minnesota come in then?
Oh, it might have been. Oh, 88, 80. I got 88, 89. And I think Minnesota was one, and either Orlando or Miami or something like that. But one of them was really bad, really bad. And so, I like the bad teams. So what I do when I buy a season, I always look for the best teams, and I go to the scoring leaders and I see if anybody catches my eye. And then I go to the standings. I look for the bad teams. And there was one season, and I don't remember which one it was. I don't remember, but I think Miami won like 15 games or something like that. Their expansion year. So I says, something, I'm going to go and I'm going to have the Celtics play that team, and I'm going to have like the Lakers play that team. And I'm going to take the best teams and see if I can beat them up. That's what I like to do. I like
see how bad it could get.
Yeah, that's why I always play like Bruins Seals. When I get a new hockey game, I play Bruins Seals. I would say, let's see what this game does. Let's see how bad the Bruins can beat them, or will the Seals surprise everybody? But it is so fun doing that. So when I'm going through the cards. Again, that's part of not playing because you got to sort the cards out or at least go through them. But it is fun, and you get all these ideas about what you want to do. It's kind of like you look at the card. Well, you have no idea what I'm going to do to you.
right. Well, how good are you going to perform for me?
Yeah. Oh my
I'm
God.
actually endeared to the fact that with Joe's stuff that I have to collate them because I get to look at them and it takes me a while because now I'm looking at this guy's card. Let me just see this guy's card. And wow, it's Dr. J. And, you think it's really him sitting on your table. It's crazy. This is just a wonderful, wonderful hobby.
Yeah, it's so fun. And then, sometimes it's just fun, window shopping sometimes. I'll go on to, Strat or App or Sideline Strategy and do I want to grab a new season or, maybe go to, the season ticket page or, whatever else game. Downey, I surf a lot of the Downey website too, and I look at the games. Sometimes it's a game I don't have. Sometimes it's a season I don't have. And again, that's not gaming time, but it is kind of gaming time. It's not playing gaming, but it is part of the gaming experience. It's just going over there and looking at, some of the things like that, or, looking at some of the things you can put on your tabletop, like the Al Wilson football scoreboard or baseball scoreboard or the hockey scoreboard. I go to his site and I poke around. He every now and then he comes up with a new scoreboard, and I might think about picking it up. Or Victor there that does all the other 3D gaming stuff. He's doing some big boards. Yeah, he's doing a lot of big stuff there now. So I might suggest a basketball one for him. You know what I mean? Just to kind of hold all the cards in a whole bit. And then I said whole bit again. Holy cow! I thought I was going to have to go through a whole episode without saying whole bit, but I didn't. But Victor does a good job too. There's a few other people that do some things with dice and that help you out on the table and stuff like that. And I like to look at all that stuff too. And it's just, sometimes I order it and sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's just fun to look. But that's all part of it too, because you're just chilling out. You know what I mean? And you're looking at this stuff, and it's all stuff to put smiles on your face.
Yeah.
It really is. And sometimes a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put YouTube on. And I will, if someone's playing a game, I'll watch, or I'll go back. Like JAA came in the stream last night, and he did some good bank shot basketball videos, and I was glad he came in. And I told him, I says, look, I've been to your channel and I've watched your videos several times while learning this game, and I just thank you so much. And sometimes I'll put him on or Rod, the tabletop basketball guy.
Yes, he's very good.
He does some good stuff. So he was playing bank shot too, and so I'll have him on while I'm playing. And sometimes it's fun to be playing a game and watching someone playing it, even if it's not live, just to kind of have, because then you're kind of in the mood there. It really is. I think the other night what I did is I put on the Stanley Cup Finals game 4. I think it was game 4. And
so good.
I put that on, and I played a game of bank shot while playing that. And of course, it took me all night to play the bank shot game because I was watching the hockey game on the computer.
Right.
And that's the other thing is, we talk about, like we were talking about like the length of a game. How long does it take to play? And the whole bit. I said it again. Whole bit.
It don't matter.
But you know what people are saying is like, oh, how long does it take to play this game? And I say, well, like ST had a good little response to that as far as, well, how slow do you play? Are you distracted? Do you have TV on? Are you getting something to drink? Or are you just really grinding out the game and not paying attention to anything else? Well, me, I have 100 things going on. I got my phone going off. I'm chatting with people. I usually am listening or watching something on the computer. So I got a lot of distractions. So I never just sit and play. That's just not how I game. So for me, a game of bank shot basketball, which probably should take an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, is probably going to take me over 2 hours just because of how I play.
Right.
And what I was doing in this playoff series, again, I got Dick Stockton going. I'm playing 82, 83 finals.
I have Dick Vitale because of college.
Okay, baby. Yeah. Either that or a Marv Albert. I like if I play the Knicks, I get Marv Albert.
Well, I grew up with him, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I got this game here, and I can hear, now Kareem with the sky hook, good. And so every time I rolled the dice and Kareem scored, it was good. Or Dr. J got the basket, or Moses Malone come down with a rebound. Oh my gosh, he's a rebound beast on that Philadelphia team. And it was just so fun because I was not trying to rush through the game, and I was trying to enjoy every shot. And I was trying to enjoy every rebound I got in that game. And I try to do that when I play the hockey games too. There's no sense rushing through it. I want to roll that dice and see if it's on net and see if the goalie makes the save and try to enjoy that. And is there a rebound? Can they clear the rebound away? I really, really try to get caught up in the moment.
Right.
But when you do that, it takes a lot longer to play the game.
Right.
So is that a bad thing? I mean, that I'm taking a lot longer to play a game, another half hour to an hour to play this game, or am I really enjoying this?
Right. And that's only you can answer that. If it's fun, it don't matter how long it takes. That's how I always looked at it. If it's fun for you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If I come in on your stream and I'm like, he's taking too long, I'm just not going to watch the rest tonight. That doesn't matter. Yes, you like to have people in there. You want to share. You always want to share your gaming experience with people, Right. Like yesterday at the outing, a couple of my friends, they're older guys, they make, you just want to go home and play your games. And I'm like, yeah, and I wish you guys did, but you don't.
Yeah.
And you don't get it. So it's okay. I'm going home to do that. So, yeah, it doesn't matter what I think of the game you're playing, how long. It's long for you. It's not long for me. It's not long for you. It's, you got to have fun. You have to have fun. That's what it's about. You're locking everything else out and you're having fun. You're so entrenched in the game in those moments. It's just like I can visualize everything. Even when I played on the computer, I didn't need graphics. Just give me the text or not. Yeah. Just give me the play result. I see it all.
Yeah.
I see it all.
I'm not even a basketball guy. I'm a hockey, football, then baseball, and then basketball is way down on my list. But I've been enjoying this, and I've actually been learning about basketball. Again, I don't know anything about I didn't even know how the fouls worked in basketball. Again, I just don't watch. I watched some old, Bird era. That was my stuff. I watched Larry and McHale and, Parrish, the big three. Danny Ainge taking the 3-pointers. I watched it, but I couldn't tell you about fouls and who's shooting two and why. I didn't know anything about it. Now I'm starting to learn.
Right.
I'm starting to learn about, when you press and when you don't and when you do this. And I tell you, Vin, and I've said this on the stream a few times, I bought bank shot basketball because they had the big board where you could put 10 players from each team on your table. And then in the game, it would tell you from time to time when to use one of the reserves. But you never had to worry about substitution, right?
Right.
So that was why one of the big reasons I bought the game. The other one was because how easy it played. Well, let me tell you, Vin, I tried it with the 10-on-10, and it was okay. It was a little confusing about when to use who. And I said, well, let me try the 5-on-5. And I went to the 5-on-5, meaning you got to do your own subs manually. And I didn't want to do that because I don't know when to bring people in. But let me tell you, 5-on-5, you know who's on the court. You see the matchup. Sometimes it's a starter. Sometimes it's a bench player or a reserve guy. And that has just been more fun than I thought it would be. Like 10 times more fun than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be like, oh man, I guess substitute. When do I bring this guy in? But I was talking to Ron. He's like, well, when guys get in foul trouble, that's when you got to stop pulling them out. And you said the same thing, during a live stream. That guy's got 3 fouls in the first half. You got to sit him.
Yeah.
You can't risk losing him late in the game because he's got all these fouls. And so you bring in these bench guys, and sometimes the bench guys do all right. And you're like, man, this guy's kind of holding up his end of the bargain here.
Oh, yeah.
And so I am really, really enjoying learning the game of basketball. I'm learning when to sub. And maybe I'm making all these mistakes. I don't know. But, I'll have a guy, and I'll be, okay, he's played, the entire first half. So I look at the actual game, and he played, 40 minutes or whatever it is, 36 minutes. Well, I'm going to take him out for a while and let the other guy in, and then in 5 or 6 minutes, maybe I'll put him back, And I try not to let everybody play the whole game because that's just not realistic, and I don't do that in hockey either, I try to set it up so the top lines and the top guys play more, and then it filters down. And I'm trying to do the same with basketball, but sometimes you get a guy in there, Bobby Jones comes in for Philadelphia, and he starts blocking shots and making plays. And again, I know it's all dice roll. It's all dice roll. But in my game, he's making plays. And so I'm going to keep, Dr. J on the bench. If I don't need him right now, I'm going to let Bobby Jones handle this. I had Bob McAdoo in for Kareem. McAdoo was holding his own. It's like, well, Kareem's got 3 fouls. Bobby's McAdoo, stay in there, do the job.
There you go.
It's so fun. But then it is, every once in a while, you do got to take a starter out and bring in the bench, because just to keep it realistic, like Tebow always says, you got an A pitcher on the mound, and he's getting lit up a little bit. You got to go to the bullpen and bring in a C pitcher in Appa, and it goes against everything you would do. Why would you bring in a worse pitcher? But he says if you don't do it that way, then the numbers for the game don't work out. So you don't want to game the game. You got to kind of go with who should come in, even if they're a lesser pitcher. And that's kind of what I do here is I bring in guys, okay, I got to get him his 5 minutes somehow, even though he really stinks.
Right.
And I'll put him
I try to coach realistically, too.
Yeah.
It's funny you talk about they don't play every game. When you see the 61-62 season, they don't play every minute. You're going to see guys like Will Chamberlain, 45 minutes. Bill Russell, 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
They play all game, and it's so much fun. And that Wilt and Russell tilt that I had, oh, my goodness. Every time they went up against each other, I was waiting. It was, I don't know. It's so hard to describe. Only a real game, like a game of nose,
Well, it's funny you talk about, those guys playing like almost the whole game and all the games, because back then that's what they did. Look at some of the hockey teams only had one goalie, and they played every minute of every game all season long. There was no backup.
Right.
And that doesn't happen obviously anymore, but, as early as like the 70s, there were guys playing a lot. What was it? Martin Brodeur, I think, was the last one to play almost every game. He just was a machine, But like I said, back in the 50s and the 60s, guys they didn't come out. It's just not what they did. And so it's going to be fun to play 61, 62. And that's the other thing. Is like, who would ever thought I'd be playing, 61, 62 basketball on my channel? Just not me. But again, it's been fun. I opened up a whole new world. And now I see the joy when people play hockey games. Like Dave Little's playing Stone Cold hockey, and he was playing a little shootout hockey in Connecticut. And that's a basketball guy. He's largely a basketball guy and a wrestling guy. And he's playing hockey. And he's having some fun with it. And he's discovering the game. And I can only imagine that our experiences are kind of parallel to each other, where he's the basketball guy playing hockey. He's like, wow, this is kind of neat and different and learning the game. And I'm the hockey guy playing basketball thinking the same thing. And now here I am, playing ABA. And I'm going to get, 61, 62 on the table. I actually picked up last season for Bank Shot 2. Was it 23-24? Because the Celtics won. Yeah. So I wanted to play the Celtics. And I saw that, Kyrie Irving was on the Dallas team. And it doesn't hurt to have LeBron, on your table. Somehow, some way, I'm going to get LeBron on the table. These are some classic players that we're talking about here. And so I got that season. And it's like, okay, I'm going to be playing modern basketball. And the reason I did get that one is because, I'm playing the 80s right now for the most part. And I every now and then you check for a 3-point shot, and it's like, that was kind of fun. So if I get the modern season, it's going to be a lot more 3-point attempts.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's going to take a lot longer to play the game because it's going to be a lot more checking on numbers and stuff. But hitting the threes was kind of exciting. I think Andrew Toney hit a couple in game 2. You know, you got the basket and then you had to roll, a 2 or a 3 on the 6-sided die, and you would get that. It's like, holy cow, he hits a 3. You know, it was kind of exciting. So I wanted a season where I could hit more 3-point shots. So I got last season.
Oh, you got one. And the modern guys, like my favorite to watch is Jokic on Denver. The guy he handles the ball going up the court. He's a center. He's a big dude. You got to look into him, and you're going to love playing with him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he does everything. He passes like Magic Johnson. He just could score from everywhere. He knocks down threes. He plays good D. He's probably the most, I don't know about complete player because I don't know a lot of the players today, but he would be the most fun guy for me to play current basketball with. He does everything so much. Nice. So, yeah.
Now, do you have a game in particular, and I'll give my example, that you just like, it's kind of like your go-to game to relax? And for me, it's APA Baseball Basic Mode, where I can just kind of come over here, pull a couple teams off the shelf, throw on my table, and in 5 minutes or less, I'm up and running. It's no muss, no fuss, no big setup. And I could just write down my lineups and go. Sometimes I go to Digi Dugout and find a game and print out the roster and the lineup sheet, like all ready to go. And so, do you have a game like that you just like to kind of just chill out and play, and it doesn't have to be a project? It could just be a couple of teams on the table?
Matchup college football.
That's right. You like that one, yes.
I love it. And what it is, a matter of just laying out the fast action cards, grabbing 2 team sheets. That's it. Keep a little stat sheet going. And it's just, I get so entrenched in that game. And he's coming out with more and more sets and teams. And yeah, it's...
I saw that he come out with the Flutie. Was it the 84 Boston College? So I'll have to get that one at some point. I'm hoping, like I said, I got a bucket list. I think next week's show is going to be me talking about my bucket list, my wish list for play.com, which is coming up next week. And I have a handful of things that I would like to get done, and people I want to talk to, and games I want to see out and play. And obviously, sitting down with ST again and going over that game. Hopefully, he has it with him out there. If not,
he will. I will.
If not, we'll catch him in Ohio. At the Canton event.
Oh, right. You're talking about Colorado. Yeah, I'll have it at Canton.
Yeah. So one way or another, I'll either be playing it in Colorado, but I'll be playing it in Canton for sure. And at some point, I want to pull it and get it on my table. I would like to sit down one more time with him or somebody else and go over the game and just kind of get better at it, and before I try attempt it myself. But so that your game, yeah, it's interesting. You'd have a nice football game to sit down, just kind of relax and play. And for me, again, I like the APA Basic. It just kind of just play, just roll a couple dice and be done with it. You don't even have to think about it. That's the great thing about the APA Basic, and even the Strat Basic Baseball. I kind of like that too, where you just kind of look at the cards and you're done. You don't got to worry about it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like matchup is once you got it down, and it's not hard to learn. But like every other game, you're gonna have some questions. It's just I don't need to. Nothing's ever going to, I'm not checking, I'm not stressing over it. It just flows. I'm just playing the game, and just everything comes so easily. It's the fast action card. Okay, this guy's rating, that guy's rating, this team rating. It's a relaxing game for me. And I love college football, so that's, if I had to take one game, I tell you that a few times. One game, can't have any more. That's coming with me.
Yeah. That's a tough question. I play so many games. I get so much enjoyment out of all of them, and they all do different things for me. They all, scratch different itches, as we like to say. Now let me talk about some other thing. So we're talking about games as therapy. I'm here with Vinnie Mancini talking about this today. We have games that we play that are fairly easy, and I would say Bang Shot's a fairly easy game, and APA and Strat Basic are fairly easy games. But then you got some complex games, or games that are a little bit more deep, more difficult to play. They can be therapeutic in a way, but I guess it all depends on how your day's going, whether you want to tackle a more difficult game.
I get nerved out. if I know if it starts getting too much for me. But I think that's coming with age and the confusion. I have some confusion that I deal with. So if a game starts getting a little erratic in my head, I can't. I have to put it down. Things today have to be a lot easier for me. But then I see guys that digest rules like it's nothing, you know? And those games become deep. Like a couple of games were brought up, some of the deep hockey games the other night when you were streaming. Guys were talking about Ringside and Ford Street and, quality games, and you get the real feel of the sport. But I don't think I could grasp all that, so it's nerve-wracking to me.
I wanted to try the Ringside. I still might pick it up. They had a huge sale. But I look at to me, it's the cards themselves, the team cards or the player cards or whatever it is. There's so many colors on there, and I know they try to color coordinate things, but it really was, wow, I'm getting dizzy looking at the cards. And so maybe it's my old age that I just can't really handle that.
Yep.
You know, whereas, you know, an APA card is nice and clean. A bank shot card is nice and clean. A season ticket baseball card is nice and clean.
Right.
You know, a Strat Basic I consider nice and clean.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of worrying about finding things because they're all right there. So for me, I mean, that's the one game I did want to play because being a hockey guy, I thought it'd be really fun to play this ridiculously deep hockey game. But I started to look into it, and it wow, I don't even know how you come up with a game that's
I can't.
That's like that. I mean, and I know hockey's a strange game, and you know, 90% of the hockey games out there are just this guy has the puck. Okay, one of 5 things is going to happen, you know, to determine this 20, 30, or 40-second segment. And that's probably the best way to handle it, because to try to go pass by pass, play by play, check by check, oh my gosh, forget it. But, I mean, they did try it, and some people like it.
And guys love it. They love it, you know.
And that's good for them. You know, and maybe someday, you know, I'll give it a try, but visually I was having a hard time playing it, so that's why I kind of stopped. I was like, yeah, no, if the cards were designed a little bit, I don't want to say better, but a little bit more pleasing to the eye and not so much of a kaleidoscope is what it looked like. And I was getting really confused, like, wow, this is just, what do you do here? Again, I like a nice clean card, you know, and it doesn't all have to be color coordinated if it's clean, you know, and I'm okay with that.
I agree.
But yeah, so I'd love to try one of those games, but obviously I haven't yet. And who knows, maybe if I did try it, I'd like it. Now the APA Master Baseball game, that's another game. I haven't played that in a while, but I remember when I got it and I tried it, I really liked it. Even though it was time consuming and complex, I liked the mechanics of it. I liked what they were doing in that. I liked the fact that now you had the lefty-righty splits, and you look at a card. I forget if it was the George Brett card or what it was, but I mean, you know, against for example, a righty batter, he was like a 4, and against a lefty, he was like a -11 or something like that. I forget what the actual card was, but against certain pitches, he was horrible. Horrible. But that's what made it fun because, oh boy, you know, he's going to struggle against this guy big time. And now the pitchers had a grade that mattered rather than just A, B, C, D. They had a 1 through, I don't know, 20 or something like that. And it just how the batter and the pitcher interaction worked. It was a lot more results, a lot more things could happen. I felt that the pitcher mattered more and the batter mattered more, and depending what side they hit from the plate mattered more. And then fielders' arms. Like I remember, I forget what game I played. I don't know if I was playing the Yankees or the Rangers. And I hit it in the center field, and Mickey Rivers is out there, and he's got a noodle for an arm.
Yes.
And so you hit it in the right field with Dwight Evans, and you don't even need the check. You're not running. You're not running on Dwight Evans, you know? But you hit it in the center field, and I'm running all day on Mickey Rivers.
I remember one year it was a +3 arm. I was +3. I had a better arm than that.
Yeah. But in the APA game, you know, you get a hit, and it gives you a number which basically assigns like where the ball was hit, how far from the fielder. So you factor in that, the runner's speed and the thrower's arm, and again, 90%. I mean, if I got a guy on first, I'm going to third if it's hit the Mickey
Every time.
He's not going to make that throw. I mean, or I at least have a 50-50 chance, if not a 80% chance of getting there. And that's what makes the APA Master fun. But it is more complex, and it's not my go-to game late at night because there is a lot more thinking to it. But when I am in a thinking mode, that's actually therapeutic too, because it takes me forever to play that. But the idea that it's, okay, where's the ball hit? What's that number? What's Mickey's arm? And what's my runner's speed? Okay, I get how many chances out of 36 he can make the next base. Do I want to try that? That, to me, is kind of therapeutic in a way, too, because I'm deciding whether the guy's going to go.
Right.
Whereas, in the basic game, it tells you if he goes or not to that extra base, and which is fine because that's why you play it. But, boy, I tell you, when you do play a deep game like that, it can be really fun and involved if that's what you're looking for at the time.
I agree. There's a lot of games that when you have those coaching options, you're more interacting with it.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It is fun. I've gotten used to having plays called, and I never thought I would enjoy it when watching matchup college football. I was like, wow, this is interesting. You could let the plays call. I'm sitting back and watching it, but the excitement is still in rolling that dice to see who's going to win that matchup.
Yeah.
And you watch the play unfold, and the excitement is there, and the image is there, and it's just so. Yeah, you could go both ways as far as strat hockey. You got to make every decision.
Yeah.
Some people are like, well, the coach doesn't do that. He doesn't tell Guy Lafleur it's a game.
Yeah.
And it's played differently. And it's okay. That's it's whatever you're into.
And that's the thing is we have those choices now. You can have games like Strat Hockey where you make a lot of decisions. You have a game like APA or Hockey Bones that you make no decisions basically, and then you have games like the Red Ice Hockey and the Stone Cold Hockey and the Shootout Hockey, which are faster play games where the game moves along and there's really not a lot of any decisions at all to make. And so we have all these different games to choose from, and that's what makes it fun, too, is that sometimes I want to make those decisions, and sometimes I don't. And I have options now with different games to do that with. And to me, that's the beauty of what we do here, too, is that whatever you're in the mood for, if you're in the mood for this,
that's it.
You play this because you want to, coach. I really like the football games that you can call your play or you can roll your play. There's a lot of them that I play. I think Second Season does it too, but the Solitaire Pro Football does it, and I'm pretty sure. Apple obviously does it too. No, Apple does. Apple you have to call the play, but there's a lot of games I play that. Excuse me, season ticket football. I think you can do both.
Yes,
that you can call the play, or you can to see what the game's going to call by rolling dice and flipping cards, and. Sometimes I make the call, and sometimes, okay, what does the offensive coordinator say? Oh, he wants to do an outside run. Sure, we'll do an outside run. And sometimes I'm like, no, I'm throwing the ball, and I'm throwing it to this guy. That's been decided, And then you roll to see what happens on the play. And so again, that's fun too. Sometimes you can make those calls in football, and sometimes you just want to sit back and just see what your dice rolls do.
Right. And both Second Season and Season Ticket do that really well. Really well.
Yeah.
And they're also built to where you can play head to head really well. And that's not easy to do, Like Strat Football, I cut my teeth on it, but it's not really easy to play solitaire. I've played it. I could play with my eyes closed. I know I have solitaire system. They've come out with them. There's others that are out there that do it better. But you don't need to create anything with Season Ticket or anything with Second Season to play, let the game unfold, head to head, or just call your own plays solo.
Yeah.
It works.
And it's beautiful having those options.
Sure.
It really is. It really is. And getting back to the therapy part about it, sometimes you want to make those calls and see how you do. And when you're successful, it's like, that's pretty cool.
Right.
It really is. And then there's other times where you're unsuccessful and you're kind of like, well, I blew that. I mean, the other night I was playing Bank Shot, and I flipped the card and it said choice. So you have to make a choice. Well, I could go to, Moses Malone or Kareem Jabbar every single time. But I go to other guys, and there was one time I went to I forget who I went to. It was like the third or fourth guy on the squad, and I was like, I'm gonna go to him. And when I rolled the dice, and he puts the basket in, and that's the only card on the table of that roll. Whatever it was, 87 or whatever number I rolled.
That's great.
Yeah, everybody, all the other four guys in 87 would not have been a basket. And I was like, boy, I picked the right guy and I got the right roll. And it was just so fun that I got to pick the guy that made the shot. And I was like, whoo, no, that's a good play right there,
Right. So I see that as like, all right, so he was the open guy. I passed it to the right guy.
Yeah.
He was open. He was more open than so-and-so. And you hit the basket. Yeah, it's just, what a great hobby we have.
Yeah, it is. It is so relaxing. So we've been talking about games as therapy. And, again, Vin and I talk about, we want to come down and play these games, and we're playing these games, and it just takes us away. And, it's stuff we've talked about, a lot here on the show. But, you just can't reiterate it enough of how relaxing it is to do these things. And even when we get worked up at things, even when I was having trouble figuring out, where the ball went, or, where the rebound goes in hockey, or, sometimes like in a football game, I get confused. It's just not the end of the world. You just either pick another card, or you just do what you think you should do and make it make sense in your head, and if you make a mistake, well, then, a lot of people, what they say is that I just blame it that the officials made a mistake.
There you go.
They missed something, or they called something they should have, and that happens in sports. So I mean, when we make mistakes, whether it's a dice roll, or oh man, did I already flip this card, or did I already roll these dice, or did this guy already bat? I forgot if he already batted or not. You just go with it, and just you don't get too worked up about it, and you kind of laugh about it sometimes.
Yeah,
and you're just like, okay,
When you use the word therapeutic and the subject we're talking today, I'm going to share this story if people out there don't mind, and you don't mind. But when that word is used with my gaming, the first thing that comes to mind, and it occupies me all the time, it was when my daughter got hit by the car. It was horrible. I'm not going to get into all of that. The therapeutic part was Steve Barkin from Stratomatic, God rest his soul, and Hal, Dave Cook, Pete Ventura, they all sent me stuff up to the hospital.
Really?
And I found myself, I messed it a little bit. When I wasn't consumed and I had a little bit of time, like I don't know what it was, this quiet moment, I messed with the games for a little bit. Hal and Steve sent me every season up till 2005. That's when she got hurt. Pete and Mark Miller sent me stuff aboard, a 1927 season. I've sold replay stuff. I will never get rid of that season. Never. Dave sent me every season. As a matter of fact, when he came up to the convention, he told me, and I don't remember this, that I had called him the day after it happened. I don't remember if it was for my daughter or the 9/11 thing, but he was there and supported me. That is the ultimate of therapy through gaming.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. Never forget it. So it's therapeutic without a doubt. I grew up in a crazy household. I used to sit underneath a coffee table in my living room playing my strat games to death. But you know what? No matter what was going on, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate therapeutic moments that I've had with the games.
That weekend in Connecticut, that whole weekend was just one big therapy weekend for me. It really was. Getting up there and just spending every night till 1 o'clock, hanging out with people, playing games, talking to people, bouncing from table to table, whatever. We played sports games, we played chopsticks, we played racing games, whatever we did. Chopsticks, yeah. It was just, everything we did was just so fun and relaxing. And I think a lot of people felt that way, because I remember, was it Ray Barrett who brought up the lanyards, and he brought up, what did he bring up in the room that first night? It wasn't pickles. Pretzels.
The Philadelphia. He's coming to my little house thing. Right?
Nice.
Him and Ryan.
He brought Philadelphia pretzels, and he brought some tasty cakes on Sunday into the room too. And I remember him sitting there, and again, I didn't know Ray, and he said he would do the lanyards, and so we were so busy doing other things. It's like, man, if this guy doesn't come through with the lanyards, we're screwed, right? Not only did he come through, he just did an amazing job with all the signage and everything. I mean, it was just, I did not expect that, and that really pushed things over the edge is how everything looked. And I remember him coming in and sitting down, and he put the pretzels down, and I didn't know who he was, and he's sitting there talking, and come to find out it was Ray, and I was like, he's like, oh, I just drove up like 6 hours from Philadelphia, and what a crappy ride it was, and a whole bit, and it was as we all do when we get down a long ride. And I think after about, I think he was playing that game with us, or he was watching us play, and like after about an hour, he just said, something, I'm so glad I took that ride. I mean, he cursed it all the way up because it was so worth it. And that was like just in the first hour he was there. And so like, that's how it was all weekend long. Everybody was just having a good time. It was just so therapeutic and relaxing and talking to people and just blocking out everything as much as you could, playing games, chatting. It didn't matter where you came from, and that's how Ohio was last year. We took a long time to get to Ohio, 10 or 12 hours. And something, it was worth every minute of the ride just for the experience we had that weekend. And that's how Connecticut was, just hanging out with all those people, chatting with them, playing games with them, having a meal with them, whatever it was. And it just was, I mean, and everywhere you went, somebody was there doing something, then you could sit down and talk to them. And it just made it such a fun time. It was like a spa weekend. It really was. It was like I pictured the girls going out and sitting, getting massages and sitting in the room and putting the cucumbers on their eyes. There you go. That's kind of how this was, except it was with dice. We're putting dice on our eyes, There
you go. Well, that big die you pulled out.
Oh, man, the Kool-Aid one. Yeah. I forgot about it till Clay showed me his big 10-sided die. I said, I got one bigger than that.
Well, yours dwarfed that one.
Yeah, the Kool-Aid one. Oh, yeah.
That was good.
That was hilarious. That was fun.
It was such a good time. And again, I can't wait for Canton. I cannot wait. Me and Joe, we've gotten so close. So close. Oh, gosh. And Phil, they're coming out. I've gotten so close. We're going to be riding out to Canton together. They're going to come out here because they live close to each other in Staten Island. They're coming out here, and we're going to make that trip. And it's going to be nothing but laughs. I know it. And it's scary how much me and Joe think alike throughout the day. It's absolutely scary. Like he'll bring something up. I was just thinking that. I was just doing this. Like you say when you talk to him, it's freaky scary how much we think alike. And we're kind of cut from the same cloth too. So being Brooklyn, Staten Island, and oh.
But it was a fun weekend. It was a relaxing weekend, and just
it was awesome.
Playing what you wanted to play, chatting with people, learning new games. I actually got to sit and learn some new games, and I got to put names to all the faces. I now have a ton of new friends that I've met from that convention, and it was just nothing but a positive experience and very fun. But so anyway, so we've been talking games as therapy, or basically just this hobby as kind of a big therapy session. Every time you come downstairs and you play and you try to relax. I mean, you do have your maddening moments when teams or players do something on your table and dice get chucked around the room once in a while, but that's pretty rare. But it does happen. We've all had our frustration in these games, and how could you? But that doesn't make it fun because it doesn't matter. These games don't matter. No matter what happens, it don't matter. You just play and play it again. If you don't like the results, just play it again and see what you get a second time. So
there you go.
So anyway, well let's get to our 3 stars of the week, if you will, Vin. So we're going to kick things off at episode 268. In no particular order, we have Rich Jones. Rich, thank you so much for supporting the show. You are our 3rd star this week. Number 2 star is Keith Curtis. Keith, again, thank you so much for being a part of things. And our number 1 star here in episode 268, hopefully I say his name right, Jerry Evanoff. Jerry.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for supporting us here on the Digital Today's podcast. Well, that should wrap things up here. That was a fun episode to talk about.
Oh yeah,
it's fun when you talk about things like that, things that make you feel happy.
Therapeutic.
It is just the talking about it relaxes you, and we get a lot of people that listen to the show and they listen while they're like driving in the car or they're cutting the grass or even playing a game, and it's just having the talking of something you really enjoy helps too, because I listen to a lot of podcasts too, and if it's something that I enjoy, I just have it on, and it's just fun listening to people talk about things that you like. So
Yep. I was just listening to James Cass, the last one. Thought it was really good how he talks about starting off small with different projects, and he's another guy. He just
I listen. I got that one in my queue. I got to listen to that one next, but I catch all of his stuff too, and it's fun listening to him too, and hear his thoughts on the hobby too. That's what's great about that. So anyway, so that has been episode 268 of the Digital Dice podcast. Myself and Vinnie Mancini been talking about games as therapy. Ways to get a hold of us, digitaltodice.com is the website. 978-751-DICE is the text line and the voicemail line. You can leave us a voicemail at that number there, or leave us a promo for the show that we might drop into the show. digitaltodice@yahoo.com is the email. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. So once again, Vin, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, and just wish everybody to keep having fun. Have fun.
All right, so I know you got some cornering to get to, so
I do, but I want to play a little too now.
It is. It's a fine balance between like making the cards look nice and then like, look, I've been cornering for an hour. I'm going to play for an hour.
That's it. My wrist is hurting. Yeah. I got to use the right one to roll the dice.
Yeah. But then you look over your shoulder and like, man, if I could just get a couple more teams done.
Before the girls get home, it's quiet. Go.
Exactly. So
I have 3 of them now. I'm going to look outside. I think the landscapers here. I'm going to see how good they can do.
Bring them in. Hey, I have one more project.
He was ringing the doorbell. I hope it wasn't important. My wife will kill me.
One more project for you guys. I can see these cards over here. Just take this thing and corner them for me.
There you go.
That'd be great.
Oh, Dave.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye-bye.